You just don't know when to quit.
Yeah, I've been told that before.
Wow. Are you guys seeing this?
I need a weapon.
Hello there.
You with you?
I thought yours was new.
Hello there. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Slav's Free Talk Podcast, where we talk all things pop culture, whether it be TV, movies, music, video games, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. If not, welcome everybody who's here again. Yeah, how's it going? So who do we got here? I know we got a bunch of people here. Got to see who's all here. We got Trayvon in here. We got Critic Chris. We got Jalen in here saying hello, guys. Or hey, guys. We got a whole bunch of people in here. Yeah. All right. So this week we got not a lot of stuff to talk about, but we got some fun stuff to talk about. There's a couple things Superman, DC related I'm going to talk about. We got some Star Wars stuff to talk about. We got Warner Brothers Discovery stuff to talk about for sure. So yeah, we're going to be a little bit of everywhere. There is a little bit of Marvel thing I want to bring up. Let's see if I still have it here. Let me see. It is here, so I will throw that right there. We'll talk about that around there. Okay. So we do have a little bit of things to talk about. So let's dive in. I hope you all had a good week. It was a fun little weekend, and I hope you all had a good time. But finally, we have confirmation on when the early tickets for the early screening of Superman will go on sale. Confirmation is they go on sale tomorrow. That is right, tomorrow, which is June 10th. Tuesday, June 10th, they go on sale. If you are one of the lucky ones, you can actually go on Fandango right now and find what theaters. You can type in your address or zip code or whatever and see if there's going to be an early screening near you. My nearest theater to me is 40 miles away that is showing Superman, the early screening, which is July 8th. That screening is 40 miles away from me. I am going to try and get tickets tomorrow to go see that movie or Superman on July 8th. I will also get tickets for July 11th. Don't worry, people. I'm going to go then too. And then I'll probably go again that weekend with my family. Don't worry. I'm going to go see it a few times. But yes, it's happening, guys. It's happening. But remember, in order to be able to get these early screening tickets, for all of you who are listening right now, you have to be an Amazon Prime member. So you have to go to Amazon. I believe it's Amazon Prime/Superman or Amazon.com/Superman. I think is how you can actually get access to going to that, if I'm not mistaken. In the chat, yell at me if I'm wrong. But if you are an Amazon Prime member, you have to be an Amazon Prime member. So you have to be signed into Amazon. You have to go to Amazon.com/Superman. It'll verify that you're a Prime member, and you'll be able to get your ticket. You can get up to 2 tickets for this as a Prime member. Remember, you can only get up to 2 tickets. It's not like you can take your whole family to it. It's going to be you and a friend. That's all you'll be able to get. I'm excited. Again, these tickets go on sale tomorrow. I don't know a time. I haven't seen a time. Anybody in the chat, have you seen a time? I have not seen a time that these tickets go on sale. I'm hoping that it's relatively early in the morning for me, because that would be the best for me. Like I can just wake up in the morning and purchase tickets. But if not, I'll get it when I get it. I'm just going to keep checking throughout the day, see if I can grab them. But let me know. I'd love to hear, shout out to me on X tomorrow if you happen to get your tickets. Say, I got my tickets. I got them. I'd love to hear the success stories if you do get them, because I want to be excited with you. I want to be excited and be excited for anybody who gets to go see this movie early and gets to see this film. We are, guys, think about it this way. The early screening is less than a month away at this point. It's less than a month away. Less than a month away. That's how close we are to seeing Superman finally. I'm excited. You should all be excited. But because of that, and I want to stick with this before we get into the comments, there's somebody was kind of a little upset about this early screening, which I think is kind of like, that's interesting, because I remember when this came out a couple weeks ago that there's going to be this early screening. You know, guys, this is showing confidence. This is DC Studios. Like, we are confident in this movie. This movie, we have full confidence behind it. We're going to put this film out. Let's go. This person here on Threads, iamins.insta, says, why? Now people are going to spoil the movie on social media for 4 days straight. Even if they love it and ticket sales get a boost from word of mouth, there's still a risk of it backfiring due to intentional, hateful reviews from people who've been trying to stir negativity about this movie from the beginning. Now, before I talk about what James Gunn's response is here, which you can read it there, that was going to happen no matter what. Whether there was an early screening or not. Let's not forget that there's going to be reviews from critics. There's going to be a review embargo. My guess is, because this early screening is happening on the 8th, the review embargo is probably going to lift before that from the critics. We're going to have probably the social media embargo lift about a week before that, and then you're going to see the review embargo probably lift the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, somewhere around that. So we're going to see all those reviews come out, possibly with spoilers, possibly without spoilers. We're going to get all that stuff anyways. I mean, to come out and say something like this, it's just, I get that people don't want to be spoiled. But in this day and age with social media, with everything, you have to expect that if this is a movie that you truly want to see, one, you got to try and get the early screenings as early as you possibly can. If it's not going to be the 8th, then get there on the 10th. Get there on the 9th if you can, because I know there's some places that might be doing it on the 9th, but try and get there on the 10th, because you know that while it opens on the 11th, the early screening, the real day that it opens up is going to be the 10th. So try and get on the 10th, but you're just going to have to try your best to not go on social media. Don't read the articles from the critics. Don't talk to people who will spoil it. Don't listen to podcasts. Don't watch, the YouTube channels. Like, don't do that thing. It sucks. You'll just have to give up some of that stuff for a few days before you see it, but that's what you got to do. Now, when he says that it's going to backfire and the intentional hateful reviews, first off, if they have this much confidence in releasing this and doing an early screening of this movie at this point in time, I don't think they're worried about hateful reviews from people who have actually seen it. So these hateful reviews from these people, this small minority, these minority of people who are going to hate this movie regardless, they're not worried about them, nor should they be. So there's no worry there. But anyways, James Gunn says, A, hearing a spoiler won't kill the movie. The enjoyment of the film isn't based solely on its surprises. B, but if it does concern you, please be careful of where you go online during those few days. Exactly what I said there for B. But A, it's good to hear that this isn't a movie that's full of surprises. This isn't a movie that is like, hey, you want to. This isn't a Christopher Nolan type of film where there's a twist and you don't want to know what the twist is before you see it, or an M. Night Shyamalan movie or anything like that. This is a comic book movie that it is what it is. Like, this isn't Endgame where you don't want to know who dies at the end. Like, this is a Superman movie. You know what you're going to get for the most part. It's the adventure. It's the excitement of sitting there, start to finish, just having a good time. And that's good to hear. I've always been one that spoilers never ruin a movie for me. I don't mind hearing spoilers for films. There are times whenever I sit there and say, I don't want to hear spoilers for a movie. But I've always said this, that for me, my excitement is when I know what's happening in the movie, sitting back and watching the crowd, the audience react to the movie when I know what's going on. For some reason, I get more joy and excitement out of that than I actually get out of experiencing the movie myself. Really bizarre, I know. That's probably why I should have been a film director myself and never did become one. But that's where I get the excitement, is whenever I sit back and I see the audience just their reaction to specific moments in a movie, whether it's a big moment, a sad moment, and whatever it is. Watching the reaction of the people I'm with or the audience as a whole, that's what gets me excited whenever I go and see a movie. So spoilers never really ruin it for me. It actually makes the experience better for me because of that. But again, I know for some people it does. Again, when you get down to it, though, just that week, when it comes down to it, you just have to avoid spoilers if you're that kind of person that doesn't want to hear spoilers. This is just, we're getting to that point. I mean, we're talking about in a few weeks. In a few weeks, we're going to start seeing red carpet premieres and stuff like that. That's when information is going to start coming out. That's when you're going to have to decide, do I mute things on X? Do I just avoid social media until I see this movie? Those are the decisions that you're going to have to make if it's that important to you. And yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say about that. But let me know your thoughts. Are you going to try and get tickets to the early screening? Are you going to try and avoid the spoilers that will inevitably come out after that early screening, and obviously from the critics and the press alike? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right, what are we saying over here, guys? What are we saying? Boy, we got Resident Justice in here. He says, what's up? What's going on, RJ? Glad to see you here. He says, it's just 3 days. I think people will be okay. That's what I say. I think people will be okay. And like I said, obviously, you have to be used to it at this point in time, because we see things from articles, magazines, and newspapers, and social media critics, and everything. It's just, I don't get it. I don't get it. People just want to find reason to complain sometimes. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see. Resident Justice also says, you would have had to try and avoid spoilers regardless, because the movie opens in international markets on July 8th and July 9th. They're just lining up these Amazon Prime screenings with that date. There you have it. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. What else do we got? Hunter Iggy's in here, says, Slavs Free Talk, what's up, everyone? Did you see what John Roca said, that DC will skip San Diego Comic-Con over Superman concern? No, I didn't see that. I thought it was pretty much not all but confirmed that they were going to go with Peacemaker, but I did not see that. Critic Chris says, best reaction I experienced at movies were Titanic, Avengers Infinity War, and Endgame. Sold out. Yeah, he also says, at Endgame, I gave up my seat so a couple could sit together at first showing. Oh, that's nice of you. That's nice of you. Manoas Time, what's going on, man? Slav, you said that early screenings is a sign of confidence. How would you describe the difference with what they're doing with The Flash? Because that had early screening too. They had confidence in The Flash, and rightfully so. Like, again, the problems with The Flash, I say this all the time. The Flash did have wonky VFX, 100%. The VFX in The Flash were bad. The story was strong. The acting was strong. The performances were great. If it wasn't for the VFX, that movie is a very good movie, if not great movie. They were very confident in that film. Let's not forget that there were people who went to CinemaCon. So many people that went to CinemaCon who came out of it and were like, this movie is awesome. So many people were talking highly about that film, because they all enjoyed that film. So they were very confident in it. They thought that they had a real winner in that movie. And it just did not perform well at the box office because, yeah, I think, one, the VFX wasn't good. Two, I think people were just sick of the DCEU. Three, the Ezra Miller stuff, I think, affected it to a point. I mean, I think that there's a lot that goes into play with what happened with The Flash. This is a lot different, though. The marketing is vastly different. The marketing has been phenomenal, especially the last 2 months. And I mean, this is a new universe. So I think it's a lot different. But again, their confidence is a lot higher with this than it was with The Flash, but they were still very confident with The Flash, too. Jalen says, I think the opening for this movie is going to be massive. I hope so. I do hope so. And we'll talk about that in a little bit here. Otito, James says it was on par with The Dark Knight, though. Are you talking about Flash? He said that it was didn't he say, James Gunn say it's the best superhero movie he ever saw when he talked about The Flash? Look, I say this all the time. When it comes to executives, you have to pay attention to what they say sometimes. And he was the newly dubbed head of this studio essentially, and he's not going to sit there and talk shit about a movie. But again, I think that they all believe that this movie was going to do well. He's not going to sit there and say this movie is shit. He's not going to say this movie is mid. He's not going to say this movie is all right. No, he's going to say this movie is awesome. I mean, why would he say it's mid? He's going to say this movie's awesome. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. One of the best superhero movies I've ever seen. Why not? Why would he not say that? Now, you can then sit there and say, well, of course he's going to say it, or why would we believe him with Superman? Again, I get it. That's why I always say you have to pay attention. You have to sit back and listen to context about everything and how they talk about these films. With Superman, I don't just sit there and listen to James Gunn. I listen to the whole cast and crew. When you sit there and listen to the cast and crew and they start talking about this movie, they could easily just not talk about it. There's a lot of times when they talk about this movie, it's unsolicited. They're talking about how it was to film this movie, how this movie is, and they talk about things unsolicited. They don't need to talk about it at all. They're excited about this movie. And that's the difference when you sit there and listen to things about Superman as opposed to The Flash, where it was a question brought to James Gunn and he's like, oh, this is the best superhero movie I've ever seen. Again, I still think that The Flash was good, and a lot of people thought The Flash was good, and it just didn't do well. That's the difference. Oh, boy. And where we got here? The Watcher says, Superman is going to be amazing. Yes. Darth Vader says, hello there. Hello, Darth Vader. Xander says, coming up on June 12th at work is Superman Day. We are celebrating the new movie and the character as a whole. We can hear anything Superman to promote this new movie to show love to the character. Yes. All right, moving on to the next story here. All right, this little bit of Marvel news here. I'm sorry, I need to bring it up. I'm not going to play the whole trailer, but there was a new teaser/trailer for Ironheart, and my goodness, it was atrocious. It was bad. This show is going to be horrendous. I'm sorry. I watched this trailer 3 times, and I couldn't follow it. I didn't understand what they were trying to do, what they were trying to show in this trailer. And you're showing a trailer to try and get people to get interested in a project. I mean, that's the point of a trailer. I've talked about trailers, I can't tell you how many times now in the past X amount of months because of Superman and Fantastic Four and things like that. This trailer doesn't explain what the hell this show is about, or even gives you an idea of why this show is. Now, we met Riri Williams in Black Panther 2 or Wakanda Forever, but it's still just, there's nothing about this teaser, this trailer, that I sit there and say, oh, yeah, this makes me want to watch it. Like, sure, we got Alden Ehrenreich in here. Okay, why is he there? Like, who is he? Like, you get nothing about him. We get Riri Williams building a new Ironheart suit, which she built one before with Wakandan technology. Like none of this makes sense. Like, if you watched Wakanda Forever, like, it seems like you're going backwards here. And then you get magic in here, and you're like, why is there magic? none of this trailer gives you any information on anything that makes you, and it's not even one of those trailers that makes you go, huh, this piques my interest. This looks interesting. It's just a hodgepodge of just random scenes that just don't fit together. It is a bad trailer, and that doesn't bode well for the entirety of the show. And I think it's only a 6-episode show, so they're premiering half the season on June 24th. So you're getting the first 3 episodes, half the season, because they're just like, look, we don't know what the heck to do with this show. So here's the first 3 episodes. Here you go, try. And I feel bad. I legitimately feel bad for everybody involved with this, because there's no, look, I just talked about how there's all this confidence for Superman, but there's legitimately no confidence for Ironheart here. That's absurd. You know, this show was filmed like 2 years ago. It's taken them this long to get it out. At this point, like, I'm surprised they're even putting it out. I don't understand what they're doing here. I don't get it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Did you watch this trailer? Are you going to watch Ironheart at all? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'll probably watch it once it's all out. I'll probably binge it in a day or two just to see what's going on, because I'm sure Riri Williams is going to be some sort of player in the upcoming Champions arc that they're going to do at some point. But I can't imagine that there's any real need for this show. Oops. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Yeah, let's see. What are you guys saying over here? Critic Chris says, I thought Ironheart was going to get canceled. Yeah, I thought so too, but it never did. Manuel's Time says, hey, Slave, question. What are your thoughts on the TV spots? If you're talking about the Superman TV spots, I liked them. I think they're really, really good. They're really strong. They're basically exactly what I thought they were going to be. What I like is that they're showing us just a little bit more of the movie. I like that they're not giving too much away with the film, but they're giving us just a little more of Superman smiling, him in action, him flying, all that kind of stuff. I like that. But yeah, I think that they've done a good job with the TV spots, and I really, personally, I would like to see another trailer. I would. Whether we get it or not, I don't know, but yeah, I don't mind them. I think they're good. Jalen says, I want to believe in this show, but my God, the marketing for it is just trash. I hope it's decent at least, but damn. Yeah. Manuel's Time says she had to give the suit back in Wakanda Forever because she couldn't use vibranium outside of Wakanda, but I'm with you, not interested in this one bit. See, I don't remember that in Wakanda Forever. She had to give the suit back? It's been a while since I watched that movie. I don't remember that. Jalen says, I feel super bad for Ryan Coogler. Well, he didn't direct this. Yeah, I think he's just a producer. The Watcher says, I'm kind of pissed about Fantastic Four because apparently Vanessa and Pedro were making fun of the comics at CCXP. Made me rethink a bit support for Fantastic Four in theaters. Yeah, I didn't hear about that. That's crazy. Kevin Davis says, nobody forced you to watch a show. Keep the same negative energy when it's white lead MCU. Show root for it to fail. It has nothing to do with the lead of the show, Kevin. This has nothing to do with the lead. It's legitimately, look how bad this trailer is. Look how bad the trailer is. I mean, if you want to sit there and talk about race, I love Black Panther. The first Black Panther is fantastic. Chadwick Boseman was fantastic. The way they handled him dying with Black Panther 2 was terrible. They should have just recast Black Panther, T'Challa. That's what they should have done. They should have recast T'Challa, and that movie probably would have been 1,000 times better because they could have done a better story with it. My problem is Riri Williams never took off in the comics, there's no reason to bring her into live action because there was no real audience for her in the comics. So why bring her live action? But they're doing it. So do it well. But these trailers that we've gotten are not showing us that it's done well. Maybe the show's great, but there's nothing in these trailers that are showing me that it's going to be great. Like I said, I'll probably catch it when all the episodes are out. And hell, maybe I'll enjoy it. Maybe I'll love it. Look, I loved Miss Marvel. I thought the Miss Marvel show was fantastic. I'm one of the people, when I tell that to people, they're like, really? You think it's fantastic? Yeah, I thought the Miss Marvel show was fantastic. I think Iman Vellani is an absolute treat to watch. I think she encapsulates that character fantastically, and she's just a pleasure to watch. Maybe this will be just like that. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But these trailers are not doing it justice. And I feel bad because all these people who have worked so hard on this show, the marketing has been crap for it. And there's nothing here that makes anybody want to sit there and say, yes, let's go watch this show. And there's no reason to say, yes, let's go watch this show. None. Donovan says, 2 weeks ago, a final trailer for Superman was rated. Well, there you go. Thanks, Donovan. Donovan says, expect it to come out on Wednesday. That's what I'm thinking. Like I said, I expect the trailer to come out when tickets go on sale. That would been my thought for a while. Again, Kevin, it has nothing to do with black characters in the MCU. There's nothing to do. Like, again, let's talk about, you want to talk about black characters in the MCU. I like Sam Wilson I actually really liked Captain America Brave New World. I liked him in there. I thought that he did a solid job as Captain America. I think that movie was pretty good. I think it could have been better. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent flick. People actually are shocked that I like that movie too. Again, specifically with me, don't come here saying, oh, you're saying this because it's a black lead. It is not because of that. It is not. It is solely on what I'm looking at here is just trash. It's as simple as that. Jalen says, Miss Marvel was so good, I wish we got a season 2 instead of the Marvels. I agree, Jalen. I agree. Resident Justice says, there will be a couple social media videos posted when the tickets go on sale. I want a trailer, damn it. Yeah, whatever. We'll see what happens. Resident Justice says, one of them is awesome. I won't dare spoil it, but the last 3 seconds of it have the coolest new footage from the movie we've seen yet. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. All right. Sticking with Marvel real quick. Apparently, I don't know, like this is from Austin Medeiros on X. I don't know who this is. I don't know if this is true. I don't know what any of this is. I just saw this before the show started. I wanted to bring this up because I think this is interesting. Kevin Feige has addressed the Fantastic Four ship in Thunderbolt's post-credit scene. He says their ship, Fantastic Four, is the Excelsior. And there is a Fantastic Four ship entering the MCU, but I'm not sure they're the same ship. So here, you'll see in the Fantastic Four movie or trailers that we've got, this is the Excelsior, and then this is the ship that we see at the end in the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts. And they're not the same ship. So what is he trying to say? Are we going to have 2 different Fantastic Four teams? Is that what he's trying to say? Is that what he's trying to say? Or are we going to see that this is a different ship that they create? What is he trying to say? What is he like? I don't understand. I don't get it. I want to know what your thoughts are on this, everybody, if this is legit, because they are absolutely 2 different ships. Absolutely 2 different looking ships. They both are Fantastic Four ships. Or maybe the one in the Fantastic Four trailer isn't a Fantastic Four ship. Or maybe that's an early prototype ship, and then this is who knows? But what do you think he's saying? That's what I want to know. What you guys think he's saying? Because personally, I can't imagine that they're going to have two different Fantastic Four teams in the MCU at the same time. I just can't imagine that. And I don't know how that would work, because you would have one coming into the 616 universe, and then you would have one in whatever the Fantastic Four universe is. And then they leave that universe, maybe. They somehow get into the Secret Wars universe, whatever that is, Doomsday universe, and then this other one gets it. I don't know. It's confusing. Why does he have to say this stuff? Whatever. I just think it's interesting. I think it's a good topic of discussion. If it's true, if this is something he actually, like I said, I have nothing to back this up on. I just saw this earlier, right before the show, and I was like, hey, this could be interesting to talk about. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Jalen says, why the hell are we having two Fantastic Four teams like WTF? That's what I mean. I don't think we're going to, but it could. The Watcher says, it's the multiverse, and I think them having the Fox Fantastic Four meet the MCU one makes sense. Maybe. Critic Chris says, I swore I read long ago, First Steps, Fantastic Four cast is only another multiverse team, not the official Fantastic Four, later to be revealed in the MCU. I don't think they're going to do that. I think this team in First Steps is going to be the Fantastic Four in the MCU, but I hope not, because I'm sick of Pedro Pascal. I really am. I'm sick of him. I am sick of him. All right. I'm sorry, guys. I got to talk some Star Wars, because there is some news that it looks like they have decided unofficially, as of right now, who the next heads of Lucasfilm will be. So word on the street is, according to the Hollywood Reporter, is that Disney already has a plan of who's going to take over for Kathleen Kennedy when she leaves. Currently, the frontrunners are Dave Filoni and Carrie Beck. Now, Filoni, we all know he's been a part of Star Wars since the mid-2000s, late 2000s, when he started with the Clone Wars, working with George Lucas on the Clone Wars cartoon, and has been a part of Star Wars since then. He's been heavily involved with The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, all that kind of stuff. Carrie Beck has only been with the company for a shorter period of time, but she has worked very closely with Dave Filoni over the last few years, specifically on the creative side to get a handle on things. But she's more of a producer type of level. Think of them going like DC Studios in this regard. Carrie Beck is much more of a Peter Safran type of person, whereas Dave Filoni is much more of a James Gunn type of person. But here is my take on this. Is this the right move? 10 years ago, if it was 2015, 2016, 2017, we'll say we'll say after Last Jedi, okay? After Last Jedi, and I was pissed off at Kathleen Kennedy, and I didn't want her touching Star Wars ever again, I would have said, hell yeah, let's go with this. Dave Filoni all the way. I would have been wrong, but I would have said that. Because today, no, I don't think that's the right move. I honestly believe that what they need to do is they need to pretty much just clean house. I think if Kathy Kennedy leaves, you have to clean house nearly top to bottom from a creative standpoint, because there is a disconnect when it comes to Star Wars in some form or fashion that is just not hitting with the fans, at least not on a large scale. There was a time when Star Wars was the talk of the town. It didn't matter. It was, everybody knew what Star Wars was. Everybody understood what Star Wars was. Everybody, whether they admitted it or not, they all liked Star Wars. Sure, there were some holdouts, but for the most part, everybody enjoyed Star Wars. Even when the prequels were coming out, they may not have liked the prequels, but they still loved Star Wars. And they would still watch the prequels. They would still go see the prequels. They were still excited about any new Star Wars lore that was coming out. That was the thing. Today, not so much. That's not the case. There's all this new stuff that comes out, and people aren't excited about it. People don't care about it. People just don't like, yeah, they like Star Wars. Like, I still have yet to watch the second season of Andor, guys. Like, Star Wars is my number one love in everything. And I have not watched a Star Wars piece of material yet that's out. Like, that is absolutely crazy to me. It's because, like, my love for it has dropped so much over the last few years because the quality has dropped. And there's just this disconnect from the fans. So, personally, I think keeping Dave Filoni on there, while I think, and I know what he's done, and animation has been phenomenal, and the first couple seasons of The Mandalorian was great. Ahsoka I enjoyed, but I feel like the right move would be to just kind of clear house for the most part. So if they keep him on and Carrie Beck kind of does more of the producer type of stuff, making sure they get the money, they have the money, and more of the talking head for all that kind of stuff. And then Dave Filoni's the creative side. I don't think that's the right move because Filoni's been the creative side now for a number of years. But let's also not forget that Lucasfilm is more than Star Wars. They have other IPs. Dave Filoni is basically just Star Wars. So who's going to handle Indiana Jones and Willow and all the other stuff that they could potentially do? That's the other question. Now, what I think is interesting, and I was just told this the other day from a buddy of mine. He said he was listening to a podcast, and he said that he heard, I guess it was a couple years ago, that Disney nearly sold off Lucasfilm. I can't believe they didn't do it. But perhaps if they were able to get a couple of strong outings right now, maybe that would be the route to go. I don't know, because they need something, and maybe a new parent company coming in. Maybe I don't know. It would just be interesting. It would be really, really interesting to see something like that happen. I know with Kathy Kennedy leaving, she's going to have producer credits on a lot of the upcoming films that are coming out. The Starfighter with Ryan Gosling and The Mandalorian and Grogu. And if that Rey film happens, it's not going to happen. She would have a producer credit on that. But after that, she probably wouldn't have any more pull with films at all. I'm really curious to see how things go. But then again, could she have been the one that was holding Dave Filoni back? And the reason why I bring that up is because I remember at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian, was technically supposed to be the end of Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and Grogu's story. That was supposed to be the end of their story. The next season of The Mandalorian, because it was called The Mandalorian because it was supposed to be chapters of Mandalorians. The next chapter was supposed to be the Book of Boba Fett. So it was supposed to be chapter 17, the Book of Boba Fett. And it was supposed to then go about Boba Fett for the next eight episodes. And then after that, it could have been about Bo-Katan, or it could have been about somebody else. Now, Din Djarin could have popped in and out of there like he did, but there was never technically supposed to be a season 3 of The Mandalorian featuring Din Djarin and Grogu. Like, that wasn't supposed to happen. Apparently, it was Kathy Kennedy who was like, we need to keep it going. Grogu sells too much merchandise. People love it. We need to keep it going. So had they not done that, would Book of Boba Fett have been better? We wouldn't have gotten Mandalorian season 3. Like, would things have story-wise have been better with that Mandoverse? So that's just, there's some weird questions and things you have to wonder about. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, though. Like, what do you think? Do you think this is the right move when Kathy Kennedy leaves? Do you think it's the right move to put Dave Filoni in charge alongside Carrie Beck? Or do you think they should clean house? Do you think they should bring somebody else in? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I know you guys were falling asleep there. Some of you, at least, like Trayvon. Falling asleep. Critic Chris says, what's left to tell in Star Wars, though? Sorry, I'm not caught up on all the show. Dude, there's so much to tell in Star Wars. So much to tell. You can tell so much there. Trayvon says, can we go back in time, prevent Disney from buying out Lucasfilm, please? Please. I would like that. Yes. Let's see. Here we go. Anything else? Donovan says, I think Lucasfilm needs new blood and fresh new direction. I agree. Critic Chris says, maybe the franchise ran its course. I was done with Star Wars prequel trilogy for the most part, and Indiana Jones 4. Terminator franchise, in my opinion, gone further than it needed to. Well, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Movie Talk Now says, Filoni is good if he has a co-partner. If you're talking about like Jon Favreau, yeah, I mean, he's done really good with Favreau for sure. Jalen says, Jan, are we done with the Star Wars talk? Yeah, we're done with the Star Wars talk, Jalen. Don't worry. We're done with the Star Wars talk. We will move on to Warner Brothers Discovery. Just hit a corporate reset button. That's right. You can head over to slavsfreetalk.com to read the latest on this, but announced this morning, very early in the morning, Warner Brothers Discovery has announced that they are splitting their company in two. Now, we discussed this about a week or two, or maybe like 3 weeks ago, that there was a possibility of this happening. And they have decided to go this route. They decided that they are going to split their company in two. Now, what this means is they're going to have like a streaming side and like a television side of sorts. Now, we'll get into this here, or global networks, I should say. Streaming studios and global networks is what they're doing. Essentially, the streaming studio side is going to be Warner Brothers, which is film, and TV side. So Warner Brothers Television, Warner Brothers Film, HBO Max, DC Studios, New Line, and Warner Brothers Games would be part of that as well. The global network side would be CNN, TNT Sports, TBS, Discovery, not Discovery Plus. Discovery Plus should be on streaming studios. I put that on the wrong side. And like the lifestyle networks and stuff like that. So, yeah, like they're splitting this up. Now, this is a very, 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 very smart move. The reason for this and why this is a smart move is this is basically going to allow them to focus more on the more profitable side of things. I think that's the best way to put it. Again, we talked about this a few weeks ago. If you look at the streaming side of things, that's like that, like the streaming and studio side, Warner Brothers Film Studios, that type of stuff. That's where the bulk of the money is going to be. And that's where they're going to really try and make back a lot of this debt that they have. The global network side, that's like the cable TV stuff. That's where they're struggling. That's really where they're struggling stuff. And that's where they may try and offload some things. That's what some people are looking at. So really, when you take a look at it here, debt load, early filings suggest each company will assume a share of the current $44 billion net debt. Streaming gets a lighter balance sheet to fund originals. Networks keeps their heavier stack, but also the stronger near-term free cash flow to service it. Content windows, internal licensing between the two companies won't be as frictionless. CNN documentaries heading to Max or HBO series rerunning on TNT will now involve arm's length deals, potentially boosting revenue but extending negotiations. So in a way, because they're two separate companies, there's going to be, in a way, I guess, revenue, not sharing, but, like they're going to have to pay each other almost to do that kind of stuff. Basically, this is, and who was it? Paramount a number of years ago did this, but they did it in a way that wasn't nearly as successful. This is going to be a way that's going to truly, I think, help Warner Brothers Discovery get to a point where I'm not going to say they're going to lose all of their debt. Look, the very first thing I said about this, and I'm trying to choose my words right here because I don't want anybody coming back at me and saying, "What are you trying to say, Slav?" What I'm trying to say is, like, this is the right move. This isn't the fix-all. This isn't the be-all, fix-all for their issues with how much debt they have. But it is a step in the right direction. This is one of the many moves that they have to make to do this. Is this going to be perfect at first? No. Just like what Zaslav was doing early on, where he was canceling things, shelving things, making hard decisions. This was not an easy decision. This was a hard decision because, in a way, this can make your company look weak. Now, luckily, the stock did look like it did jump up a little bit today. Like it kind of jumped up a little because they're like, hey, they're doing something. I'm thinking in the long term, though, it's probably going to drop a little bit. But over time, you're going to see that, yeah, maybe that was the right move, because you're going to, once this split happens in 2026, mid 2026, you're going to start to see, when these two companies are split, what the changes actually mean. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm trying to say it the best way I can without putting my foot in my mouth, essentially. Yeah, I read the article. It is a really good article here. It's over on my /freetalk.com. Give it a read. David Zaslav is going to run the streaming and studio side. CFO Gunnar Windenfels will shift to the top seat of the global networks. I have, businessinsider.com. They talked about it as well. You can check out some of those links as well. They go in depth. That's kind of where I got a lot of my information, was from there. But go check them out. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, though. Do you think this is the right move, wrong move? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, I'm not a strategist by any means. A lot of the information I got here, I got from Business Insider. I got from KRDO. I got from, I think, Hollywood Reporter. Was it Hollywood Reporter or was it Variety? One of the two that I saw it originally from. A lot of this is where I got a lot of my information. So I just kind of broke it out as best as I could for all of you people to read and understand as best as possible. All right. Now, let's talk about our main topic here. Well, kind of main. And actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll talk about this real quick, because I do have one other thing that I want to talk about that's kind of ridiculous after this. So, summer showdown. We've talked about this multiple times, but I asked a question today on my community on YouTube of which movie do you think is going to be better quality-wise? Fantastic Four, Superman, or Jurassic World? I now have a question coming up, I believe, later this week, asking which do you think is going to have the better opening weekend? So I wanted to talk about that on my show before that question came up. Now, obviously, quality-wise, a lot of people are saying Superman, which shocked me quite a bit. But when it comes to opening weekend, I had to ask, what do you think is going to happen with the opening weekend? Now, there are some tracking numbers out there. Now, obviously, we do have quorum when it comes to interest. Jurassic World is atop the list, which is not shocking. Jurassic World is going to be atop of the list. I mean, it's one of the highest Jurassic, just the Jurassic name in itself. People of all ages, whether you're 5 years old, whether you're 90 years old, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, all of that, you love dinosaurs and you're going to want to see it. So when it comes to interest, that's going to be atop of the charts. Avatar is in second place, but I kind of bumped that out of there because that doesn't come out till the end of the year. So I don't even know why that's even there right now. So just push that out of there. So really in the number 2 spot out of this all is Superman. Superman is number 2 in that spot. And then number 3 in this list is Fantastic Four: First Steps. So 1, 2, 3, Jurassic World, Superman, Fantastic Four. And it's just kind of convenient that it's how they come out. 1, 2, 3 in the order that they come out. Works perfectly fine. So Jurassic World, taking a look at everything, the Quorum and Box Office Theory, they kind of look at this movie coming out opening weekend. It's a holiday weekend. Don't forget, 4th of July weekend. It's tracking anywhere from, because it's a 5-day opening weekend, anywhere from like 100 to 165 to 185. Now that's, again, really, really early tracking still. I think a lot of people are now, it's more like 135 is what I think a lot of people are looking at for the actual weekend, with 165 to 185 being the 5-day holiday tracking. But so if you take a look at it, 135 for the weekend, 165 to 180. So let's say 170 for the 5-day. That's pretty admirable for the opening weekend, for its opening week. Not bad at all. Now let's not forget that, being that it's a holiday weekend, more people will go to the theater. So it's going to have a big opening weekend, without a doubt. It's going to have a big opening weekend. You take a look at the previous Jurassic films, all the way back to the first Jurassic Park. The first one opened with $47 million, and the last one opened up with $145 million. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the one before that, opened with $148. But the first Jurassic World opened at $207 million. So, I mean, there's definitely some interesting numbers there. I can comfortably say, my opinion is it's probably going to open around 160 that weekend. Maybe a little higher because of the 5-day weekend, if they're going to count the 5 days into that, maybe a little higher, but I could say 150 to 160 for that weekend. Now, if you're counting the 5 days, but if we're counting just the 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 150 to 160. Now, the tracking for Superman is interesting. Tracking for Superman is 175 million. Now, this is all domestic numbers, guys. This is all domestic, okay? This isn't international numbers as well. But the early tracking for Superman is 175. Now, we're probably going to get better numbers, better tracking for this come next week. Maybe the week after we'll get better numbers as tickets have been on sale. Will be on sale and it'll be a little bit better, and we'll start to see kind of the excitement for it. But that number would be the highest opening weekend for a DC film ever. The last one was Dark Knight Rises. That was the highest at 166 million back in 2012. Was that? Yeah. So that would be pretty awesome. Now, the big factor for this is David Corenswet being a fresh face for the DCU. It's a brand new cinematic universe. All brand new, starting fresh and new Superman movie. Marketing has been strong, has been great. So I think those are a lot of big factors. Taking a look at the last 4 big Superman movies, we can take a look at the original Superman the movie, made $7.4 million its opening weekend. Superman Returns $52.5 million. Man of Steel $116.6. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice made 165 point something, so like 166 I just rounded up, which made roughly the same as The Dark Knight Rises opening weekend. So there's that, and then the Fantastic Four First Steps, right now they're tracking for about 125 to 130 something, which isn't terrible, not terrible at all. But again, it's early tracking. It's big factors that it's opening 2 weeks after Superman. It's a new Fantastic Four. It's in the MCU, that whole thing. You take a look at the last 3 Fantastic Four films, though. I mean, each one of them, the first 2 opened right around the same, $56-58 million a piece. And then the last one, which was horrendous, opened at $25.6 million. So again, you take a look at this, you kind of say, wow, which one do we think is going to have the biggest opening weekend in July? Now, is this really a competition? Yeah, I mean, this is a friendly competition because honestly, I want them all to succeed. Like, I'm hoping Jurassic World is good. I'm hoping Fantastic Four is good. And I sure as hell hope that Superman is good. But I sit here and take a look. Like, it's just fun to have, you know? Really, when all is said and done, I want them all to succeed. And I hope Superman makes $1 billion. I hope Jurassic World makes $1 billion. I hope Fantastic Four makes a shit ton of money too. But which one do we think is going to do well? I think like, I mean, honestly, sit there, you think about it domestically, within a 5-week span of time, you're looking at audience members in the United States spending roughly $500 million going to the theaters. Nearly $500 million. That is insane, especially if these movies are good. I honestly think that is huge. I think that's exciting, and that it's really rough for Fantastic Four being the last one out the gate for sure. But which one do you think? I'm not going to give my answer here. Like I said, I'm not going to give my answer, and you're going to see in my community tab on YouTube, you're going to have a chance to vote on it there later this week. So make sure you look for it. Which one do you think will make the most money on its opening weekend in July? So let us know in the community tab. But there you have it. All right. So final story I want to talk about here. This popped up. All right. So this popped up today. It says Zack Snyder's Man of Steel is being review bombed on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb just as James Gunn's Superman is about to hit theaters. Most of these sudden reviews are from faceless, brand new accounts spreading the same tired, biased negativity. It's obvious that it isn't genuine criticism. It's a targeted hit job by trolls and extreme Gunn fans trying to rewrite legacy of Snyder's DC films. Guys. And Dr. Brando here says, why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? I did a little research. Now, you go over to Rotten Tomatoes. See Rotten Tomatoes right here. Nice little Rotten Tomatoes right here. And it's not hard to do. Anybody can do this. Now, you can see this is currently the Man of Steel Rotten Tomatoes. Now, you guys know, Man of Steel, favorite superhero film. Say it all the time. Love it. Number one superhero film. I watch it more than I probably should. I love this movie. We know that the critic score isn't great, but the fan score isn't half bad. 75%. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Has 250,000 plus ratings. That is a crap ton of ratings. So let's click it. So June 9th. Got 5 stars. June 9th, 5 stars. June 9th, 5 stars. June 9th, 5 stars. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second. Wait a second. Today's June 9th, right? Today's June 9th. Let's do something real quick. This person's only ever rated one thing. Interesting. Let's just pick another June 9ther. Emmanuel B. Interesting. They've only ever rated one movie before. Let's just pick one more. All right. One more. We'll go this Paul H. View all. Okay. Yeah. Doesn't look like they've ever reviewed any other movie. Interesting. So, who's review bombing what? In what direction? Now, granted, scroll down a little bit. Oh, this one was at least smart and made it only 4 stars, but that was way back on June 1st. But where's the negative reviews? There's no negative reviews. None. Oh, wait. Way back on March 4th there is. March 10th. Oh, boy. Let's do verified audience. There's only one verified audience. Oh, boy. And now this is what happens. Now, granted, I went on here about 7-8 hours ago, and there were 3 negative reviews in June. What happened to those reviews? They must have been removed. By whom? I don't know. They must have been removed. But why are people just jumping on here? Faceless, nameless people. Nameless. See? Coming on here and putting on these fake reviews for Man of Steel. Look, you guys know I love this movie. And I even put in my post, this is specifically my post, go look on Rotten Tomatoes. You see, look at the last 3.5 months. There are 6 negative reviews out of 40 on the movie in that time frame, 3 of which came this month. Look, if there are people trying to drop Man of Steel score, that is pathetic and stupid. Grow up. But a little bit of research shows you that there is no crazy conspiracy around it with a large number of people doing this. Get over yourselves. What are they trying to prove? What this shows me, exactly what this shows me, is that these people, all of these people, which is probably one person, honestly, this is probably just one person in this June 9th column. This one person is going to do exactly this, just the opposite when Superman comes out. That's what's going to happen. And I don't care, because I stand by this. When you do this kind of crap, it's pathetic, it's stupid, grow up. Like, there's no reason to review bomb anything like that. Like, why? Like, what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove? That you're a loser? Yeah, that's all you do. Like, that is pathetic. But to sit there and who sits there and like goes on Rotten Tomatoes and like, oh, all right, I gotta look at Man of Steel and see, oh man, somebody's review bombing it. I gotta call them out. Because it's like, who honestly went there and checked that out? Like, why does it matter? Why does it matter if somebody's review bombing a 12-year-old movie? What is that going to prove? What is that going to do? Like, that, to me, like, it just, this Snyder fandom is just gotten out of hand. It is legitimately gotten out of hand. It's crazy to me. Like, it is legitimately crazy. I don't know. I just thought it'd be funny to bring this up and showcase how ridiculous they actually are, and just show that, you know, yeah, they're going to sit there and call people out for something that they're actually doing. I just thought it was funny. But let me know what you guys think about all that, because again, it's funny. I think it's funny. I do. All right, what are you guys saying over here before we get out? And the watcher says, got to dip out. Peace out, guys. See ya. What do you guys? Critic Chris says, even in 2013, before Man of Steel release, I don't remember that movie being hated on like there is for Gun Superman. Haters are using guns. The Suicide Squad Creature Commandos is their excuse to hate on Superman. It's ridiculous. Trayvon, you take that back. You take that back right now. Take it back. Captain America Civil War is not better than Man of Steel. It is not. And Trayvon says, what a truly pathetic display, talking about what they did there. Yes, very much so. Critic Chris says, LMAO, I don't know any gun supporter that's hated on Man of Steel. It's one of my favorite DCEU films, and I've stated that before. Fanimator 101 says, did you see the voice cast for Sony Animator's next movie, Goat? It's going to be an all animal populated movie about basketball. I actually saw something small pop up about that on X today, but I didn't see everything about it. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Goat cast. I'm not a big basketball fan, so I don't really know. That's TV series. That's not what I want. There it is. Let's see. We got. I can pull it up so I'm not the only one looking at it. From Studio Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, in collaboration with Steph Curry's Unanimous Media, brings Goats, directed by Tyree, co-host. Come on, where's the leading cast in Stranger Things star Caleb McLaughlin voicing Will Harris, the titular Goat, a small frame but a big-hearted dreamer determined to prove he belongs in the Roar League, where speed and ferocity rule the court. He finds himself joining the Violent Thorns. During the presentation, where's the Jordy McLaughlin? There we go. Star-studded roster are Gabrielle Union. I like her. She's a good actress. She's never in enough, though. Another NBA connection. She's married to Miami Heat Dwayne Wade. As Jet Fillmore, a legendary Black Leopard, who's still chasing NBA champion and film producer. Curry lent his voice as Lenny Williamson, draft player on the squad, and Nicolai Coughlin, there we go. And Olivia voices Olivia Burke, an Ostrich team member. Comic and Big Mouth co-creator Nick Kroll voices someone. And David Harbour rounds out the team. Other key characters, Florence Everson and Patton Oswalt. Yeah, that is a pretty good cast of people. I'm not a big Patton Oswalt fan, but it does have a pretty decent cast here of characters. Again, I'm not a big basketball type of fan, but if I see the trailer and it looks fun and exciting, I'll definitely watch it for sure. Definitely will watch it. Quick Chris says, I thought gun haters don't use Rotten Tomatoes statistics unless, of course, those ratings benefit movies they love. Amari says, I almost really a percentage feel bad for them. Oh, man. That's funny. Anything else? Anything else you guys got for me here? Trayvon says, I'm going to say it again. Superman's making $2 billion. If only. If only. What do we got here? D-Man7 says, my fear is that despite all the online hype for Superman, it doesn't do as much as Fantastic Four in pre-sales tomorrow, given how DC movies have hype online and doesn't translate to real-world ticket sales. Well, tomorrow is not the pre-sale. Tomorrow is the early screening sale. So tomorrow will be just the early screenings. There's limited amount of tickets for that anyways. I think tickets are going to go on sale on Wednesday. I think that's what the rumor is. We don't know for sure. It's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday for tickets to go on sale. Yeah. All right, guys. I am getting out of here, though. I am going to get out of here Thursday. Be on the lookout for the Watchtower. So Thursday, Watchtower. Be here, 8:30 p.m. Going to be a good time for sure. I saw another thing come up. ManOS Time says, if only people understood the simple concept, people have different taste. Yes, if only. Head over to SlavsFreeTalk.com. Check out articles. I try to get a few articles up every week, so you can check out articles over there. Follow me on X. Follow me on TikTok, all the social medias, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. You can leave a voicemail for me. The link is in the description. You can leave a voicemail if you want to hear your voice on an upcoming episode. Try to leave it about 30 seconds, 60 seconds at most, but really 30 seconds is perfect. Leave a question if you want to hear your voice on an upcoming episode for a question. Support the page, become a member, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think that's about it. hey, if you're able to go to the early screening, remember tickets for the early screening tomorrow. Tickets for the film go on sale this week. Hopefully we get a trailer or something this week. That'll be a lot of fun. With all that said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today.